Hey, how's it going everyone? In this video, we have some news on Keith Lee possibly headed to AEW, Lacey Evans returning to WWE soon, and a lot more. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling news. Cancelled plans for Bron Breakker at the Royal Rumble. Two big names from NXT that WWE discussed having in the Royal Rumble were Tomasso Ciampa and Bron Breakker, but they never appeared on the show. Well, according to the Wrestling Observer, WWE planned for a spot in the Royal Rumble match between Bron Breakker and Dolph Ziggler in order to continue their feud that they started on social media. However, they ended up canceling those plans because they ultimately decided to not have any stars from NXT compete in the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. Lacey Evans returning to WWE soon. The last time Lacey Evans appeared on WWE television was back in February of last year, where she was involved in a storyline feud with Charlotte and Ric Flair. But after announcing her pregnancy, Lacey Evans took some time away from the company. However, following the birth of her second child, it looks like fans can expect to see Lacey Evans return to WWE soon. Because according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, Lacey Evans has been training hard for her return to in-ring competition and is likely to return soon, possibly ahead of WrestleMania 38. Big E's run as a top single star is likely over. After losing the WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar at Day 1, many fans felt that Big E's run as champion was not very good, to say the least, and now his run as a top single star has seemingly come to an end. Because according to the Wrestling Observer, WWE moved Big E to Friday Night SmackDown specifically to reunite him with the New Day as a tag team, which indicates that his run as a top single star level champion is over. But because Roman Reigns will need new opponents to challenge for the Universal title, Big E can still be used in that role, being a former champion himself. But for now, that is not in the cards for Big E. Keith Lee headed to AEW. Now that Keith Lee is a free agent, after his 90-day non-compete clause with WWE officially expired, there has been a ton of speculation online regarding which wrestling promotion Keith Lee will end up going to next, with AEW being the top choice for many fans. Well, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, AEW has been talking about Keith Lee for a while. In fact, it is possible that Keith Lee may have already signed with All Elite Wrestling. Alright guys, so going over the topics that we discussed today, the first topic that we talked about was cancel plans for Bron Breakker at the Royal Rumble. And in my opinion, guys, I think it would have been very interesting to see Bron Breakker in the Royal Rumble with all of the other, main roster guys. Also, Tomasso Ciampa was discussed to be in there as well, but WWE ultimately decided to not have him in the Royal Rumble and also just not have any stars from NXT in the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. Now, moving on to our second topic, we did talk about Lacey Evans returning to WWE very soon. Now, this is very good news because Lacey Evans, the last time she appeared on WWE television was last year in her feud with Charlotte and also Ric Flair. And now it does look like she will be returning soon because according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, Lacey Evans has been training hard to return to in-ring competition. And also, it does look like she could potentially return in time for WrestleMania 38, which will be very interesting. Now, moving on to our third topic, we did talk about Big E, how he is not, seen as a top single star anymore following his move to Friday Night SmackDown, because apparently WWE moved him from Raw to SmackDown in order for him to reunite with the New Day. which indicates that he pretty much is no longer viewed as a top single star. However, WWE could use him in that role in the future. Now, moving on to our fourth topic, we did talk about Keith Lee pretty much headed to AEW. According to the Wrestling Observer, AEW has been talking about Keith Lee for a while now, ever since he was released, I believe, in November, on November 4th. And it pretty much looks like Keith Lee is a shoo-in to sign with AEW. So that will be very interesting to see. Also, other stars who their 90-day non-compete clause expired was Karrion Kross, Eva Marie, Nia Jax. I also believe their 90-day non-compete clause expired. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, out of them, I wouldn't be surprised to see Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, end up signing with AEW. So that will be very interesting. So with that being said, guys, that is all the news we have for today. Make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on those topics that we discussed today in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one.